watching Thrifty Kaniffy. Hello everyone and welcome to Thrifty Kaniffy. Well, today we're going to be doing a cleanup video. I'm going to do a before and after. So here is your before. This is a Case Hammerhead from 1989. And it's, pretty ugly looking, I would say. It's got some weird discoloration on this black synthetic handle. You got very badly tarnished bolsters. You can see where it says Case here at the long tail. And I believe they changed that in the mid-80s where they were using an oval design with the Case inside there with just a regular font. So it's kind of cool that they've got the long tail on this one. I like that a little better. And yeah, just the black synthetic handles and brass pins. And you can see these are pretty badly tarnished. If we look at the other side, not quite as bad here. A little bit of white discoloration, but again, tarnished bolsters. The knife itself is in pretty decent shape. No real major scratches on the handle or bolster. The major thing that's wrong with the knife is that it does have pretty poor action on the close. It's a little spongy. You kind of have to press that pretty hard to get it to close. Now, I've already worked on the action. That was one thing I did before the video started, and I wasn't able to improve on that much. It's a little better than it was at the beginning, but it just... I think the spring has kind of had it, and the return right there just is not super snappy unless you really give it a lot of extra effort. But the close is not so great, but the open works fine, nice and smooth, locks up well. We have no blade wobble or blade rock, so that works well. The release, maybe a little harder than I would like on normal lockback. Not a fan of when they're the types of knives where you have to press them so hard it makes like an indent in your finger, but this one's kind of borderline. Just is a little difficult, but enough that I don't have any trouble releasing it every time. And I'm probably going to open this knife up and close it more times than I would in an average day, so really not that big a deal, as long as I don't have to do it all that much. But another problem with the knife is you see that it's missing the tip there. It's got about, I don't know, 1/32 of the tip missing from the blade. But you have a nice, beautiful clip point on this one. Really like that nail nick. This is the stainless steel, and if we look at the tank stamp, it tells us as much. Tru-sharp stainless there. And this tank stamp says Case XX USA. You got the one dot, so that indicates it's from 1989. Stainless steel, the SS. This is pattern 2159L, which is the hammerhead. And in this black synthetic, and then the SSP. I'm not exactly sure what that stands for. Maybe someone can tell me. But yeah, it's a decent knife overall, and I think I just want to reprofile the blade so that it's got a tip again, and then sharpen this edge. I think this is an original edge. I don't think it's been sharpened. It's been dulled once, and then no one bothered to resharpen it. So it is rather dull, particularly at this rounded area up here at the front. And so that saber ground blade, I'm going to try to fix it up, see what I can do to get it be sharp again. But yeah, so I'm going to cut away, and when I'm done, I'll come back and I'll show you what I've done. All right, we'll see you then. Oh, and before I start, there's a couple of things I forgot to mention. This particular knife doesn't have the hammerhead blade edge that many of the newer hammerheads do. So that is not missing. That is actually the way that this knife was made back in the late 80s. So just so you know that. And also it came with the sheath, which I forgot to mention. I'm going to clean this up as well, get that button polished up, and condition the leather some, make it look a little nicer. This is just a snap style sheath, and it's got that perforated style cutout loop on it. Not the greatest sheath in the world, but it's alright. And it is the original that came with the knife. So we're going to clean those up, and then I'll come back. Okay, I am back, and I am finally done. It's actually been 2 days since the time I made the first part of the video where you saw the before. And I haven't been working that whole time, obviously, but I worked late into the night of the night that I shot the first part, probably 2-3 hours. And then probably another 45 minutes beyond that the following day. And I just had to buff and buff and buff to get all that white discoloration off of the synthetic handle there, and it just took time. It just didn't want to, it was stubborn, didn't want to go away. The bolsters cleaned up really nicely. There's still some, there's still some nicks in the handle and some deep scratches that you're not going to get rid of unless you really, really want to do some sanding, and more than I really wanted to put into, trying to restore this or anything. I'm just trying to clean it up, and it's looks plenty good. This is going to be user anyway, so it doesn't need to be perfect, but I did really want to get all that white discoloration off of there. I was just kind of dead set on doing that for sure. And so I just spent some time on that, and you can see I got it off at the back as well. It wasn't as bad on the back, but still had some of that white on there, and that's all gone now, so that looks much, much better, and I'm happy with the way that the bolsters turned out there. Again, they're going to have some deep scratches on it. This was a used knife, but, in all, I think it looks a whole lot better. Now, there was some work I needed to do to the blade. It needed a new edge, so it needed to be sharpened. But in addition to that, it needed a new point. About a 32nd was missing from the tip, and so I had to reprofile that. I just used a flat file before sharpening it and got it, reasonably pointy, and then put an edge on it. And now she's pretty darn sharp. Let's see if I can get this. I put an 18-degree edge on it. There we go. Using that work sharp sharpener, which I'm pretty fond of, especially for the larger blades like this. And yeah, now she's pretty razor sharp, much, much sharper than probably even when it was new. So yeah, pretty happy with the results. Just a nice saber grind now. I got some semblance of a tip on it now, whereas before it was just sort of flat at the tip. So we'll give it a little paper test and kind of see where we're at. So it just glides right through there, no problems. So I'm pretty happy with that, and I think the overall results are where I wanted to be at the end of the day. So very happy with that. Again, I got this knife for like $40 used on eBay, so it wasn't a whole lot of an investment. Also cleaned up the sheath. I gave it some mink oil and conditioned it, and didn't spend a lot of time on the button, but I did polish it up a little bit. You can see that the underside's still tarnished. I didn't bother with that, but the button itself is a little bit polished up. I didn't go too far with that. But the leather feels a lot better in the hand. It's just feels more supple, and just doesn't feel as dried out as it had been before. So happy with that. And again, this was the original sheath, so that fits in there really nicely. Nice little package. Pretty happy with the end results. So end of the day, I've got a user, nice Case Hammerhead. Pretty happy with it. Probably not going to ever replace my 110. I don't think I like it as much as a 110, but they're pretty darn nice knives. Actually, even way more than a buck 110, if you can believe that. By, a few, I don't know, tenths of an ounce. But pretty nice. And got a good price on it. Now I think I've got a pretty quality knife here. But that's going to do it for my cleanup video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Be made aware of videos when they drop. We'll see you next time, guys. Take care.